Yeah. Oh, look at this! We're on the air. Good times this week.
Another time.
This week in Cassandra, Trace, for those of you that speak Espanol, what are we doing today? Oh, we're going to talk about projects, some blogs. We got Nate McCall here from The Last Pickle, well-known human in the Cassandra community.
Yeah.
Just in
Forever.
general.
He's
So yeah, pretty
he's
exciting.
had the beard and the long hair before you did, John. I'm sorry.
That's
Sorry,
true.
Aaron.
I know he's
He's the OG.
much more OG than I am. Hold on, I noticed here that I don't have my my overlay. Boom, John Haddad.
Yeah.
Oh,
more
that's
hair, more
pro.
beard.
There we go. Hair and beard. It's coming at you. All right. Let's take a look at what we have today. Achilles 4.1.0 supporting materialized views. And what do you know? We have the creator of that on with us.
So what about it, Drihai?
Zhuihai, are you muted? Can't hear you, bro.
He's muted. Oh, he's like, I got to talk into the microphone. Never mind.
All right, we'll come back to you.
Yeah, it's like Achilles is one of those things. Like I really like it. It stays up to date with the driver. It has some excellent stuff like codec support and provides features like an interceptor API and like built-in JSON, serialization, deserialization. Like I've almost wanted to go back and open the issue and say that like, Drihai is too humble. I think that's the only problem with it.
Put that on your-
Like seriously.
Yeah, he's not even talking himself up right now. You'd think he'd be like, yeah, I wrote that.
The materialized views post is like it has an excellent section on like these are the limitations with materialized views. Don't do this. Like up there front and center, which like no one ever does. You know. So
It's like, whoa, pump the brakes, buddy.
Yeah.
Just like maybe you should think about these real life things.
The truthiness of it.
And look, he's just being stoic, not even saying anything. He's like,
I think his mic's broken.
Yeah. Well, do you think you can accept the PR for humble?
humble. Merge it in.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah, we can read.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm back.
He accepted my PR.
Yeah, please. In fact, the
Yeah,
problem is I don't have enough people creating PR, so I need to create my own PR for myself. It's like
Yeah.
Put me as a reviewer. I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff.
Well, you know, you could do that, and that's not unheard of in the Cassandra community. So, Avinash, who's one of the original people who came up with Cassandra, you probably remember this on the mailing list. There was a guy on the mailing list that always had the right answer, but it wasn't Avinash. It was Bill. And
Hastings.
Bill, you remember this, Nate?
Yes.
And it's like, who's this guy Bill? He just keeps rolling in with the right answer. And after a while, it was kind of determined that it was actually Avinash.
All right.
He signed it Avinash. So, Drihai, there is your inspiration.
We got Killer. Next up, we have Killer Taxi. A little real world thing here. Patrick Callahan from DataStax put this up. So if you're looking at the blog post, there's all the links are in here. Killer Taxi is the second one. This is pretty cool. What do you guys think?
you can never have enough geohashing examples out there. So I'm all for this, and I'm not a Python ninja by any stretch, but like I like Flask. It's super simple. There's not a lot going on, so I like that this is a combination of like minimum essential system to doing some geo stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we definitely get asked about geo use cases all the time, so it's good to have some examples out there for people to take a look at.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. How about this car project?
Oh,
we have?
I've watched the video.
Yeah?
It is quite interesting. So there was a live demo with Cassandra and Zeppelin. So first, they used the Zeppelin Cassandra interpreter. And so what is nice is that they schedule the query execution so that every 5 seconds it refreshes. So every 5 seconds you can see your timeline updated from new data coming in.
Oh,
fine.
cool.
But then it just hangs. Like the application, the Zeppelin thing just stopped working. Why? Because they were running on one VM for all all the server, Cassandra, so in the middle of the demo, it stopped working.
Classic Cassandra deployment, one
So
server.
live demo issue, but it was really, really nice, and I appreciate that they used my interpreter very well. So yeah, I really like it.
That's near and dear to your heart, isn't it? This
single server deploys.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love about Cassandra. It runs all by itself, just fine.
Yeah, never distributed at all.
Said no one ever. It wants to be a part of a team.
Yep. What do we got here? Russ Spitzer talking to multiple clusters now with Spark SQL. Huge fan of this. This is one of those, lots of people are always kind of like, how do I do this? And they make that noise and they jump in the hands. Yeah.
Every time Russ does something, I always like, man, that is so clever.
Yeah. Russ is a beast when it comes to Spark and Cassandra. So.
Well, what I like about his post the most is that you have 9-line snippets on the bottom, and they're that verbose because it's well formatted, formatted readability. And basically, this is how you copy the contents of a table from one cluster to another.
Mm-hmm.
And ta-da!
And I should mention too, just a shout out to Russ. He is the top contributor to Stack Overflow, Spark and Cassandra questions, and his answers are encyclopedic. It's like the Wikipedia of knowledge when it comes to this stuff. Because he doesn't just say, yeah, do it this way. He's like, yes, do it this way, and here's 3 examples that will illustrate, in these wonderful ways of how this works, and it's just so complete.
Yeah. Oh, and he's a really good presenter too. So you might find anything on like YouTube by him. Definitely take a look because it's very clear. It's well done. Definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he had an awesome talk at the Cassandra Summit.
Yeah.
And all of his slides were Back to the Future themed, and that was lovely.
Yeah, well, he also had the world famous Snake Plissken slides from Escape from Hadoop.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, can't get enough Russ love today.
No, I love Kurt Russell.
Oh, the Portland meetup tonight is doing Spark and Cassandra stuff also for people in Portland area.
Oh, nice.
Monday.
Yep.
That would be Monday the 22nd if you're living in
Yeah, it's not just whatever day you happen to be viewing this.
Yeah, because I say it's my business partners on Tuesday already. So.
Yep. Geo Mesa Cassandra Data Store, more Geo stuff.
Yep.
Pretty exciting. Yes, this is actually, it's not even like, it's not just like an app that runs on top of it. It's like way more intense than that. Like they're building like, they're like, yeah, we're gonna build like a real like Geo database using Cassandra as a building block, which is pretty intense. Scary.
Yeah, no, it's amazing because for me, this has been one that I've been watching for a while. Anthony Fox, who's been doing a lot of the work there, has been pretty active on Twitter on this particular thing as well.
Drihai, thoughts?
I didn't watch it really in depth, so
Okay.
I just play with the Kira taxi and the car project.
Okay.
Because he was traveling, he needed a taxi.
We got visualizing solar data with Banana. Thoughts on this?
This one is nice. In fact, Banana originally I think they just like they copied the Kibana from Elasticsearch, the concept. And I watched their GitHub repository. So it was not updated for a while, but still it works very well, apparently. So if you look at the blog post, so you have almost the same metrics that you have with Kibana. Yeah, so it's a nice a nice alternative for Kibana.
All right.
Thing with Solar.
So you don't have to run a separate search cluster just for your operations.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
So I want to know, when are they going to adopt the minion as the icon for this? Because every time I hear banana, I always think of minions going, banana! Sorry. Just a little aside there.
Nate, we've got your good buddy Aaron Morton dropping columns in Cassandra 3.0.
This blog post is a testament to artistry and the triumph of human spirit.
Okay.
Nice.
Aaron's a really good author on this stuff. He goes into like extreme detail, and it's just one thing after another. You can follow along at home with the tutorial, with the example style of it. He links to all the code. There's links to like documentation and blog posts where it's relevant. So it's one of those things, like when we do this stuff, we try to do it like as thorough as possible. And like this is a good sort of walkthrough of my first experience with a storage engine doing something concrete, like dropping columns. And like, lo and behold, we produced a bug, so which is 11050, which is in the process of getting worked out right now. There's a workaround for it, but it turned out to be a little bit more complex with the way that column and schema changes store hashes in the system table. So that's read the issue if you want to find out specifics. But otherwise, this is a very good run through of how the storage engine works with dropping columns in 3.0 and beyond.
Yeah, I have two things I'm going to say here. One, I agree with what you were saying. The first time I saw Aaron speak was at the Cassandra Summit, like 2 or 3 summits ago, and he was just talking about the engine internals, and I was like, yes, like, love me some Aaron Morton. Like, his attention to detail is ridiculous. I love it. He's just like, okay, and now we're going to dive into this Java class, and this is what it does, and this is how it works, and here's what you need to know. And I was like, thank you for not, like, just giving me like this cursory overview. It was just super in-depth storage engine.
You definitely have to put on the scuba gear whenever you go to a Aaron talk.
Yeah,
it's so good.
The other thing this blog post mentioned was SS Table Tools, which this is the first time I'd ever seen a link to that tool. Before I didn't realize it existed, because SS Table to JSON was deprecated, I think, with the 3.0 release. So like that's kind of cool, like to know that tool exists, something for kind of fill the gap. That's missing from.
And this does a good job of like actually showing the new format in sort of native way. And if you're curious about what like code to take that apart, it's pretty clear usage of like the SS table reader infrastructure. Now that pans down to everything, so you can actually follow and trace that along. This is a good way to get your hand around this.
Yeah.
You mean the 3.0
yes.
storage format? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's still kind of an unknown art at this point. People got used to the thrift storage format before, and yeah, I've had a few people ask me like, what does it look like on disk?
Oh, I try to dive into the source code. So you can find some comments that just explain you how the encoding is done. The comments are in the source code. So now I think we need just to gather all of them and just make a blog post.
Yeah, it'd be really nice to see a more formal specification.
But I think nobody takes time to do it, so yeah, we should do it one day.
Nate, job for you, buddy.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool blog post, Nate. Actually, maybe you.
The only thing I'm going to say is stay tuned.
Oh.
There's a follow-up to this. There's a follow-up to this coming out soon.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
So.
Edge of my seat, if you will.
Well, this is sorely a matter of like formatting Aaron's copious notes. Once he like wrote this one post. So.
I remember the other thing I was going to say that I forgot about. You guys have been blogging a lot now on the last pickle.
We really wanted to get back into it. It was something we hadn't done for a while and sort of looked up and been like, hey, we haven't written anything in a while. We really like doing it. I think it's fun. I like getting information out there. I've had since I started working in the community. So it's something we like to do.
Yeah. Blogging is a good time. I mean, you had a kind of similar vein to what we were saying about Aaron's posts. Like, you're locking down Apache Cassandra logging. We talked a little bit about that in the last This Week in Cassandra. Huge. I love it. Like, you hear people talk about, just whatever with JMX. Like, I appreciated like screenshots of and really dumb it down for me. Like, this is where you put the thing in. Like this is where you type words. to try and actually like show you how to do like logging, how to use JMX?
Yeah, like the writing for me helps me tie this back together to ways in which I would present this to users who might be new to Cassandra and technical topics in particular, because it's practice for me in our professional work and what we do. But on the other hand, it keeps me close to looking at it from somebody else's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's an organizing mechanism too. I've found that, like, if I do a presentation on something or a blog post, it forces me to organize my thoughts.
Yeah, it's a forcing function to learn something thoroughly.
Yeah, you're going to find edge cases, and you're going to be like, why is that? But then you're also going to come up with that nice, clean way of describing it, because you could just talk about something in random ways, and if you're having a conversation, it works. But if you're trying to present it to anybody, any number greater than 2, then it's trouble.
Yep.
Let's see now. Where are we? Alternatives to DataStax Ops Center. So I think it's with the newest version of Ops Center that's going to be DSE only. There's some features that require it, or it's just going to be part of the DataStax Enterprise package. So this is really just about, if you're in operations, how to monitor your cluster. I think this is definitely worth a good read. I'm interested to see what comes out of the community for tools specific to Cassandra. What do you guys talking about this at all over there, Nate?
Yeah, we're big fans of Grafana, and we've tried a couple different backends with it. Just the thing that we know that works, but is the Graphite backend, and that is a pain to scale because it's just the storage architecture. Once you want to go big for even the moderate sized cluster, you have to federate Graphite, which is non-trivial, and it's really difficult to do like run a container because Graphite pre-allocates files. So you try to run Graphite container and it maxes out like the 24 gig limit or whatever it is in Docker because of all the Cassandra metrics. It's just like, I'm gonna pre-allocate like all the stuff, and Docker's like, psych, and bombs out.
Are you
so?
Go ahead.
Well, you can fix it, but it's just one of those things. Like if you're new to Docker, then you don't know that you need to set your runtime with like these extended storage flags and all that. So it's not something you can do in a container per se, but when you launch your container launcher thing. So it's just one of those little things. But there's a couple things that we've tried. That Kairos DB is now supported as a backend for Grafana. There's a couple other ones out there. The OpenTSDB supports a backend for Grafana now. And we've used Influx before on a single node. It works great on a single node, but man, that thing has issues when you try to cluster it. It's not quite there yet. But the Influx queries are probably the fastest when you want to do like, metric name star for like a host, then other metric name. It does that sort of embedded star queries probably the fastest than anything else we've seen so far.
Cool.
So have you tried the Cyanide backend, Nate?
I have not, and I've looked through that. I've actually gone so far as to look through that code, and it seems like every time I sit down to try it out, I have to do something else. But yeah, it's Pure Average to Shard with that.
Pure,
yeah.
And I know that there's some pretty large-scale deployments of it, and I was just wondering if you had any chance.
It is on my list to try. That guy does some good stuff, so I anticipate it being good. It's just I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
It's PYR on Twitter.
Yep.
All right. Next up on the list, time series data modeling for medical devices by Danny Traphagen, DataStax.
More time series. How could that be a bad thing?
Indeed. Now, this is very well written. I like it. Danny's such a good writer. It's entertaining. It's useful examples. If you're looking for time series and medical devices, it's definitely something to check out.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be a field that just is not getting smaller over time. Like, we're probably not going to see people be like, whoa, I don't know if like we need to collect information to make decisions about like how much insulin you're given and things like that. So there's it can only be a growing market.
It's good to see like a concrete example too of Internet of Things. Like it kind of gets mocked a lot online, like Internet, this whole concept of the Internet of Things. So it's good to see like something that's kind of applicable, that's actually like maybe a real world use case.
Yeah, like a botnet, like a botnet running on like your light bulbs.
Right. I mean, people mock it. It's like my toaster is going to start, it's going to be connected to my internet kind of thing. But this is like real example of Internet of Things. So.
Yep. Hardening Cassandra for compliance, live recording.
Yeah, I did not know I was being recorded. I did not know I was being recorded, so that was kind of funny. I was like, wait, what? It's a video? So that's a alpha/beta is like the next version of my Cassandra presentation that I've been doing for a little while. It's got some new content in there, and it's a lot better formatted for like actually presenting it. But the existing slides are up, or previous slides are up with a bunch of detail on them. These were more visual, so it's actually, I think, trying to scare people less and communicate better. That's what I've been trying to do with this. So if you're going to be in Atlanta, if folks in Atlanta, I'm headed there for Cassandra Days in March, and I'll be doing the latest version of this. It's going to cover everything from like all the stuff I've been doing lately, like logging, authentication, encryption on disk, and wire level encryption as well. And also the two changes coming out with 3.4. There's commit log file encryption and the hints file encryption, because hints are stored in a file now. And Jason Brown from Apple did both those things, and they're hitting the 3.4. So those are neat too.
Yep, and that was that's the only Jira update that we have in here. So hints encryption, good thing. People.
Oh, I like stole your thunder on that. Sorry.
It's a group setting. I don't have to be the one.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it just goes to show you how it's a cool feature. It's that you're thinking about it.
Well, because we've done that before, and you have to tell people to use encryptFS or something like a file system encryption. Like you could do like a separate mounted encrypted file system completely for that, but encryptFS is just a single like file encryptor. So we've done that before for people that want to like encrypt just commit log, or have something else, do an Amazon EBS encryption for data or whatever. So
yeah.
So this will make it much easier.
I'm definitely seeing more.
Don't forget to encrypt your backups either. It's one of my favorite holes in your encryption scheme is not encrypting your backups. Oh, I just copied it into a safe place. Oh, I mean like the trunk of your car as someone sped away with it.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot more questions on the Cassandra mailing list about encryption and security over time.
Well, there's a series of questions that somebody did a couple of weeks ago that had to do around the I forget the name of the standard, but they're doing like the mil-spec government compliance audit.
STIG.
The STIG, yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting. So like if somebody's actually doing a full-scale audit of that, and they're putting it into the sort of the database they have there, that stuff, it's going to make it a lot easier for 3-letter agencies to adopt this stuff, at least in the U.S. and their equivalents abroad. So we'll see a lot more of those interest in that once they get a full audit done on that.
Right on. All right, I think we've gone through all the news and the blog post and the Jira. Is there anything you guys want to talk about before we shut this party down?
Lots of events coming up. I think that's what it comes down to. Lots and lots of events.
Also, we are looking for a new technical evangelist in UK and in Germany.
Yep.
So,
Porch be high. He's like, please come help me.
I'm traveling around. So yes, if you are interested by Apache Cassandra, if you are not afraid of looking into the source code, if you love giving code, just ping me or Patrick. And
any of us.
Yeah. See, this poor guy. He's my lone man. But he's doing great.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Killing it. Except every event in the UK he's at.
All right. I think we'll shut this party down then. We're at about 25 minutes. So more stuff coming later. There always definitely check out the blog post that accompanies this video if you want to take a look at any of the links that we've talked about. There's some job opportunities and upcoming meetups. So there's extra information in the blog post that we didn't talk about here. So definitely check that out. All right, let's shut this party down.
Thanks, guys.